Wednesday, August the 8th, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. The government's decision to suspend its debt payments has earned the country another downgrade. Standard & Poor's has lowered its issue-level rating on Barbados' global bonds from CC to default. It has also slashed its long- and short-term local currency sovereign issue credit ratings to selective default from CC and C. S&P also affirmed its selective default rating on the island's long- and short-term foreign currency sovereign credit ratings. The New York-based rating agency said the ratings reflect the island's failure to make coupon payments on August 4th and August 6th on its global bonds due 2022 and 2019. S&P says it does not expect the government will make the payments. It noted that the Mia Mottley-led administration is currently in talks with the International Monetary Fund and said that while the government introduced a series of financial measures to achieve a primary surplus of 6% of GDP, government will have to agree on additional measures to meet strict fiscal targets. In other news, it was not business as usual at First Citizens Bank today. Approximately 75% of workers walked off the job and gathered instead at the headquarters of the Barbados Workers Union for closed-door talks. Assistant General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Dwayne Paul, said the workers were peeved at the bank's failure to honor a 2016 wage profit-sharing agreement. He was tight-lipped about the discussions but made it clear that the union had seen no evidence that the bank's decision to renege on the agreement was based on the current economic downturn.
The decision of the bank is not based on any real developments in Barbados, but has to do mainly with policy decisions being made by First Citizens parents in Trinidad as to how we should operate. Now, the staff have asked us to intervene on the matter. We have been discussing with the bank now for the last few weeks this matter as it relates to the bank basically negotiating in bad faith. And to date, the response from the bank has not really been forthcoming. And as a result, the staff have assembled here this morning at Solidarity House for us to meet to discuss the situation and to craft a way forward.
Paul, who did not say when the workers will be back on the job, however, maintained that the BWU was open to talks with the bank in order to bring the long-standing issue to a close.
It is really unfortunate that when we have agreements and have gentlemen agreements, that people tend now not to want to honor these agreements. And if that is the way that we are going to be going forward, then Barbados has greater problems than its economic situations, because we are talking about people's integrity and people's ability to treat and to deal with fairly. This agreement was reached since 2016. If the organization does indeed have a problem, the union is open to discussing it and trying to find a meaningful way of addressing it. But we cannot have a high-handed approach where you agree in good faith to do one thing and then you unilaterally decide that you are going to do something else and the employees mistake it. The workers of Barbados are not open to be exploited by anyone, whether it's a local company, whether it's a regional company, or whether it's an international company. We at the Barbados Workers Union shall not stand for that.
Now, since then, Paul told Barbados Today this afternoon's meeting with management failed to reach an agreement, and both sides were expected to resume talks this evening or tomorrow. Food safety is linked to food security, and Barbados must therefore pay greater attention to safety standards when it comes to imports. That's the view of Agriculture and Food Security Minister Indar Weir. He made the comments while addressing the opening of the 4th Annual Barbados Food and Law Industry Conference at Accra Beach Hotel. He says 6 departments located between his ministry, the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Commerce were responsible for food inspection at all stages, including importation, production, distribution, and sales. And government is in the process of addressing the weaknesses in the current arrangement.
The ministry, in consultation with stakeholders, both in the public and private sector, and with the assistance of development partners, has prepared draft documents which allow a modern risk-based approach to the protection of animal, plant, and consumer health. In addition, a national food inspection manual and food sampling plan are being developed to better coordinate the inspection programs of the various departments.
The one-day event was held under the theme Legally Fit for Consumption.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. In St. Lucia, Minister with Responsibility for Finance, Senator Dr. Barbados Raymond, says the government's decision to forego millions in dollars of debt owed by Sandals Resort was in the country's best interest in the face of increasing criticism. He argues that the matter was having a negative impact on the hotel chain's investment. We get the details in this HTS News report.
Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Barbados Raymond, claims that Cabinet decided to grant Sandals Resort International SRI $24.4 million tax exemption because it was hampering the company's business operations. During Radio 100's Out Goes In talk show on Tuesday, Dr. Raymond revealed that he met with Sandals' then consultant, Richard Peter King, to discuss the matter and requested that the Inland Revenue Department prepared a memo. Sandals objected the Inland Revenue Department's assessment in accordance with its rights under the Income Tax Act. Dr. Raymond says Cabinet deliberated on the matter after serious consideration of the evidence, decided in favor of Sandals.
You're seeking to correct what you believe is a mistake or a bad interpretation or assessment on your taxes, and the government is not making a decision. Think of it, Andre. You have a business, and remember, any loan you have to take, you need clearance. So Cabinet, in its wisdom, understanding the facts, the pros, the cons, made a decision to exempt the Sandals Hotel the $24 million.
And on the international front, Saudi Arabia's state airline will suspend all flights to and from Toronto starting next week amid an intensifying diplomatic row between the two countries. This follows Canada's refusal to back down from comments in defense of human rights inside the kingdom. More from the CNN.
Ottawa accuses the Saudi government of human rights abuses, especially of women, and it's urging the immediate release of imprisoned civil rights activists.
Canada will always stand up for human rights in Canada and around the world, and women's rights are human rights.
Saudi Arabia's foreign minister responded on Twitter saying this: the kingdom does not interfere in the affairs of other countries and will not accept any attempt to interfere in its internal affairs, and we deal with it firmly.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic evening.